The night my wife kissed another man. She thought I was 300 miles away attending a business conference. She had smiled that morning, adjusted my tie, and whispered, "Don't work too hard. I'll just be at a boring corporate dinner tonight." Those were the last honest words she ever spoke to me. My flight had been canceled because of a severe storm, and instead of calling anyone, I decided to surprise her. I never imagined that a simple change in plans would uncover betrayal so devastating it would destroy everything I believed about my marriage and give me the perfect opportunity for revenge. Emily and I had been married for 9 years. We weren't the perfect couple, but we had built a comfortable life together. I worked as a financial consultant, while she had recently climbed the corporate ladder at a marketing firm. Long hours became normal. Business trips became frequent. Fancy dinners with clients became routine. At first, I admired her ambition. Whenever friends joked about successful women neglecting their husbands, I laughed it off. Trust had always been the foundation of our relationship. Or at least that's what I foolishly believed until that unforgettable evening. After leaving the airport, I drove directly toward the luxury hotel where Emily claimed her company's dinner was taking place. I even stopped by a florist and bought white lilies, her favorite flowers. I pictured her surprised smile as I walked into the banquet hall. Instead, I entered a beautifully decorated ballroom filled with strangers. Waiters moved between elegant tables. Executives laughed over expensive wine, and a jazz band played softly in the background. I searched every corner of the room. Emily wasn't there. Confused, I asked one of the hotel staff whether another corporate event was happening elsewhere inside the building. The receptionist checked the schedule before politely informing me there was no event under Emily's company's name. My stomach tightened. Then I remembered seeing an upscale rooftop lounge connected to the hotel. Something inside me urged me to check it before leaving. As the elevator doors opened onto the rooftop, laughter echoed across the terrace. Couples danced beneath glowing lights while the city skyline shimmered behind them. My eyes scanned the crowd, and suddenly everything around me disappeared. Emily stood near the railing, wrapped tightly in another man's arms, smiling in a way I hadn't seen directed toward me in years. I couldn't hear their conversation, but I didn't need words. Their body language told the entire story. She gently touched his face before leaning in and kissing him. The bouquet slipped from my hands and landed silently on the floor. My heart pounded so violently I thought I might collapse. For several seconds, I stood frozen behind a decorative column. Every instinct screamed at me to confront them immediately. Instead, something unexpected happened. My anger transformed into icy calm. Rage fades. Evidence lasts forever. Quietly, I pulled out my phone and recorded everything from a distance before slipping away unnoticed. Driving home felt surreal. I replayed the video repeatedly, hoping my eyes had somehow deceived me. They hadn't. Around midnight, Emily finally returned. She casually kicked off her heels, complaining that the corporate dinner had been exhausting. Then she kissed my cheek and thanked me for understanding her busy schedule. I looked directly into her eyes and smiled. "I'm proud of you," I replied. She never suspected I already knew everything. That night, I barely slept, but not because of heartbreak. My mind had already begun constructing a plan far more devastating than any emotional confrontation could ever be. The following morning, I started quietly investigating every detail of Emily's hidden life. Bank statements revealed expensive hotel reservations that had never appeared on our shared calendar. Credit card charges exposed luxury restaurants visited during supposed late meetings. A private investigator I hired within hours uncovered something even worse. The mystery man wasn't simply a random affair partner. His name was Daniel Carter, a senior executive at her company and a married father, too. Their relationship had secretly continued for almost 11 months. But the investigator uncovered another secret that neither Emily nor Daniel realized was about to ruin them both forever. The investigator slid a thick folder across the table, but one sentence caught my attention before I even opened it. "This isn't just an affair," he said quietly. "There's money involved." Inside were photographs, financial records, emails, and copies of confidential documents. Emily and Daniel had been secretly planning to launch their own consulting company after stealing several high-value clients from both her employer and mine. My own business contacts had unknowingly become part of their scheme. The affair had only been the distraction. The real betrayal was that my wife had been using my trust, my knowledge, and my professional reputation to build a future with another man. Instead of exploding with anger, I remained exactly the husband Emily expected me to be, supportive, calm, and completely unaware. Every morning I made her coffee, wished her luck at work, and smiled as she walked out the door. Meanwhile, my attorney quietly prepared divorce papers. My accountant documented every financial transaction. The investigator continued collecting evidence. I even contacted Daniel's unsuspecting wife anonymously, sending only enough information for her to begin asking questions herself. I wasn't interested in revenge through shouting or public humiliation. I wanted the truth to expose itself naturally, leaving no one able to blame me for what happened next. A week later, Emily excitedly announced that her company would be hosting its annual executive gala at the same luxury hotel where I had first discovered the affair. She asked if I would attend as her guest because it would mean so much to her career. I smiled and agreed without hesitation. She spent hours choosing the perfect dress, completely unaware that every step she took was leading her toward the moment her carefully built double life would collapse. While she admired herself in the mirror that evening, I slipped a sealed envelope containing the divorce papers into the inside pocket of my suit jacket. The ballroom sparkled with crystal chandeliers, live music, and influential executives celebrating another successful year. Emily introduced me to colleagues with confidence, pretending we were the happiest couple in the room. Then Daniel approached us, extending his hand with an arrogant smile. "I've heard so much about you," he said. I shook his hand firmly, smiled back, and replied, "I'm sure you have." Neither of them noticed that Daniel's wife had quietly entered the ballroom only minutes earlier after receiving another anonymous message, revealing exactly where her husband would be that night. The pieces were finally in place. When the CEO stepped onto the stage to recognize outstanding employees, I calmly walked toward him and politely asked for the microphone. Emily looked confused. Daniel suddenly appeared nervous. The room fell silent as I thanked everyone for welcoming me before turning toward my wife. Instead of shouting, I simply played a short video on the massive projector behind the stage. The ballroom froze. There they were, Emily and Daniel embracing on the rooftop, kissing beneath the city lights. Gasps echoed across the room. Daniel's wife covered her mouth in disbelief, while executives stared in complete silence. Emily's confident smile vanished instantly. Before anyone could recover, I handed the CEO another envelope containing copies of documents proving Daniel and Emily's plan to steal company clients and confidential information. Security immediately escorted both of them away, while company lawyers began asking questions. Daniel's wife quietly removed her wedding ring and placed it in his trembling hand before walking out without saying a single word. Then I turned toward Emily, removed the final envelope from my jacket, and placed the divorce papers into her shaking hands. For the first time since I had known her, she had absolutely nothing to say. Every lie had finally run out of places to hide. Several months later, the divorce was finalized. Emily lost her executive position after the company's investigation confirmed the theft of confidential information. Daniel faced lawsuits that destroyed both his career and consulting business they had dreamed of creating together. As for me, I rebuilt my life one day at a time. The pain of betrayal never disappeared overnight, but neither did the lesson it taught me. Revenge had never been about destroying Emily. It had been about protecting my dignity, exposing the truth, and refusing to let someone else's deception define the rest of my life. Looking back, I realized the greatest victory wasn't watching them lose everything. It was finally setting myself free.